Hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 13, spooky episode 13. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, Alex and Roots. And you know the drill. Start with some news. So there was plenty of it this week. And I think the main thing about this week is we have finally had some of this exclusive Oculus content start to trickle down to the Rift users. And that's what we're going to talk about first. This past Tuesday, Journey of the Gods was ported from Quest into the Rift, and we all had a chance. We didn't play through the whole thing, but we had a chance to get in there, play around for a little while, and see what we thought about it. Alex, we'll start with you. What did you think of Journey of the Gods?
Okay, first thing I'll say is that I wasn't planning on picking this up. Luckily, Wes kindly bought it so we could play it. And the thing is with this game is it's built for the Quest. It's not very graphically impressive, and I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't really that interested in it. But because obviously it's an Oculus exclusive, it's been funded by Oculus. It's got Turtle Rock Studios who've made like the original Left 4 Dead and stuff. So they've got decent pedigree. We decided to check it out, and I'm glad we did, because although it's not very graphically impressive, the thing that this does well is the gameplay. The gameplay is really solid. The way the game feels, you've got the sword, you've got your shield. I love the sword, the way it feels as you're moving it around. You can feel like the energy coming through your hand. It makes a cool sound. Yeah, it just feels solid. It feels like someone who's made AAA games has made this. The way the game progresses. I've played the 4 levels now, so I'm about 2.5 hours into it. I think there's about 6-7 levels, so I'm guessing it's probably about 4 or 5 hours tops gameplay. But you can do like things like upgrades. So I've upgraded my sword, and now I've got a longer sword, something you always want in life. I've got a crossbow, which you can now. Before it was 3 shots, now you've got 6 shots before you have to reload. You can reload it with like this lever which you pull back. Like, just the feel of the game is really good. The enemies vary. You start off with these very basic worm type creatures, which you can either take out with a crossbow, or you can, a couple of swipes with the sword. But as the game progresses, I've just got to the 4th level and did that yesterday. And there was about 3 new enemies that popped up. So there's more and more enemies. There's this big dude with these like spots on the side of him, and he's intimidating. You've got to take all the spots out, but he comes just charging at you. He won't stop coming at you until you take him out. You've also got these godlike powers where you can hold your grip buttons, and then you go up, and you're like a god figure, and sometimes the enemies will run away from you because you're obviously quite powerful. And then you get like more powers. You start off with a basic one, like where you pull trees out of the ground and put them down to get out of the way. Then you can throw lightning. There's one where you can slow down time. So it does progress quite nicely. And obviously these things combine. So like on the 3rd level, it turns into kind of like a tower defense level, where you've got these 2 points where the enemies are coming at you. You've got to try and stop them from destroying this egg. And you can turn into a god mode, pull the trees up to block them. Use these teleports to go behind them and try and take them out. You've got to take out waves and waves of enemies. So they do mix it up, and it's got a nice feel to it. I mean, the graphics are basic. That's the main downside for me, is that there's just literally no textures. Even with the Rift, they have improved the graphics. You can actually click between low and high, and the low is like the Quest version, which is a bit more blurry. The Rift's sharper. It's got like proper shadows, a little bit more detail, more particle effects. But yeah, I think that's the main downside for me, is just the graphical side of it. But it's a Quest. I just have to accept that it's a Quest game. So obviously, as a Quest game, it is going to be limited, and they've clearly not, put any high-res textures. There's no textures to it, and the assets haven't been improved for the Rift version. So I'll let someone else talk about this. I mean, I think Roots, you've checked it out, maybe not quite as much time as me, but I think you've maybe checked the first couple of levels out.
Yeah, I spent about an hour or so. I need to get back in there. My thing is that, like you said, the graphics aren't the best. I can get past the graphics. I just felt like a lot of the worlds felt a little empty to me. Like they were big just to be big. As you're running through these areas, it just felt like they could have added more. But maybe, like you said, because it's Quest game, they were limiting it for that. But overall, I do think the gameplay was pretty cool. I like the crossbow. Now, did either of you have a problem every once in a while you try to grab that bolt thing? It would like not grab, especially seemed like for me when I really needed that fucker to be shooting right and when shit's coming at me, I'm trying to grab it and I'm like, what the fuck? It happened quite a bit, and I thought maybe it was just me grabbing it wrong or something. I don't know. But
I had that. I had that happen to me a couple of times as well. But that said, I have this habit when I'm playing any kind of a shooting game where every time I take a shot, I reload. I always reload, so I was reloading excessively with it. But yeah, there was probably 5 or 10 times that I felt that it missed. It's nice to know that it wasn't because I was thinking maybe it had something to do with my inside-out tracking with my Rift S. So since it happened to you, now I know that it's just something that's part of the larger game. It isn't a hardware limitation, but yeah, absolutely happened to me as well.
But yeah,
sometimes you go to grab it and you miss, I think, but like it felt quite satisfying though, like grabbing it and like just pulling it back, and it felt like it had weight, like it didn't. I don't know. They've done the interactions well with this and the sword play and everything. It felt good. So.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the highlights of the game for me. Was the play with the weapons, the sound that they attached to it, and the sound in general in this game, I feel is very well done. Like you said, the graphics are lacking, and there's no more detail here than there is in Windlands 2. But for some reason, I felt more immersed in this world, and I think a lot of that has to do with the quality of the sound effects. There's real. If you walk up to a river or a stream and you can hear the water running and it sounds legit, and you walk into a wooded area and you'll hear frogs croaking. So I think maybe that had a lot to do with it. I think the level design as well, where everything's linear, they were able to design these nice looking scenes. So even though this is very bare bones from a texture perspective, I felt that the immersion was on point. It was a pretty immersive environment, and the gameplay was great. The crossbow particularly was very fun. I felt like it during the tutorial part. Maybe there was an auto aim on it because I was really shooting from the hip, and my first time ever shooting it and nailing it every time. But then after I got into the game, I started, missing now and again. So I think maybe there was some auto aim going on, but just for the tutorial. But yeah, I agree with you, Alex. I'm glad I picked it up. Probably a little steep at $30, but I'm going to reserve judgment until I finish the game. We'll have more on this game next week. I'm going to finish it. I know Alex is going to finish it, and I think Roots is going to put a little more time into it. So come back next week if you want our full thoughts on Journey of the
Let me
Gods.
ask you this, Wes. Now that you've got, this is crossplay, right? Or is it? So
yes.
Which one? You have the option to play it on the Rift S or the Quest. The Quest is wireless. Everybody wants to have a hard on for wireless. So is it something that you will play in the Quest over the Rift S, or is a little bit of extra shadows and detail, worth it?
No, 10 times out of 10, I choose Rift S over Quest. Quest is nice. It's nice to have that mobility and portability, and I'm glad particularly that I have this title on Quest, because I do feel like this is a good title to demonstrate what standalone can do. But no, if I'm at my home, 100 times out of 100, I'm going to go into my Rift S. To get me to pick Quest over Rift S, there has to be a benefit to it, something more than just the tether, because I normally I don't move around that much anyway. like maybe Beat Saber, for example, and we might as well go ahead. I have it listed on here. Beat Saber's getting a 360 mode, so that the blocks come from all directions. That's something. So features like that may persuade me to pick Quest over Rift S, but timed exclusives, just the wireless aspect, that's not enough. I love my Rift S too much to take the graphical downgrade just to be tetherless.
Especially after Super Sample, right? Alex, what do you think of this 360, man? Like, I know you're like a real Beat Saber fanatic. It looks pretty cool, actually. I haven't really looked at it too much. This actually looks pretty legit.
Yeah, I don't know if it's coming to the Rift. I know they're doing like a 180 version of it, but I don't know. I think it's something I'd have to try. I'm not that sold on it until I've tried it, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of the things that you have to try for yourself to really know whether it's enjoyable or not.
So we're talking about Beat Saber 360 here?
Yeah, just because you were saying, you brought it up, I figured perfect segue, right?
We've transitioned beautifully into that.
So we'll go ahead and talk about that. This is something that they demoed at E3, and as for right now, it's Quest only. That's why I used it as an example. As of right now, it's only coming to the Quest. They're talking about maybe bringing it to other platforms, but to them, the tether is a limitation when you're doing 360 like this. I don't think that they want to release it tethered unless there's just some huge
Is
demand.
it a limitation, though? Because they're not whipping around. It just looks like they're going back and forth, left and right. I think I could handle that with my cord. I'm pretty sure I know I can. You know what I mean?
It depends
maybe it's time for another change.org petition.
Yeah.
bring 360 to the Rift.
Yeah, I won't be signing.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, say it doesn't come to the Rift. Is this enough to maybe make you consider picking up a Quest?
No.
What about you, Chris?
Not necessarily the game per se, but I mean, I'm kind of already leaning towards getting one for the same reason you were saying. Your dad's around today and he's able to play the Quest, and like I know my dad's huge into VR, and he hasn't even been able to check out mine, but he actually got a Go given to him by Oculus. He was one of the testers, and so he was hoping that he was going to get a Quest, and that never came. But yeah, so I would even do it just so that I could justify, getting it so that my dad could play it.
But not enough on its own, but it's definitely helping.
Well, yeah, it's like that's how it works for me. Is like even if it's not going to be the deciding factor, I'm going to chip it away for something. And then as a few other things go, and then something will tip it. There'll be one thing like this, and maybe this will, I'm already almost ready. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm getting it. This is the tipping point. I don't know. But I'm not quite there yet, but just because the index is right around the corner. But I definitely think I will own one within the next 6 months, probably.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you say there, actually, that there's always something that just tips people over the edge. Like PSVR, there's people who are sat on the fence and they're waiting, and then there's that one game that comes out and they're like, I really want to play this, and then they end up getting one. And it's just, I think that's just how it's going to be. I think it's just going to be gradually, just one by one. People are just going to eventually there's going to be something that suits them, that gets them to the point where I need to get this now, and that's obviously something that's individual for each person. But yeah, I think that's it's a good point that you make. There's just that this one thing that sometimes just tips you over the edge to purchase something, and a lot of it's just justification. I think spending the money on it, you need to justify whether it's something that you really want. And if as the games get better, like No Man's Sky, wait for that to come out. We're going to get so many people buying PSVRs just for that game.
I want to play that so bad.
Yeah. I want to check it out. It seems like another time sponge, though, something that's going to take up all your time if you want to really get into it.
Yeah. Okay, let's. We've gone off track there. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. So Let's get back to it. We were talking about the Oculus exclusive content that was released this week. I assume you guys are done with Journey of the Gods till next week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'll finish it and then we can do a proper, in-depth review on it. So.
Okay. All right. So the other thing that happened 2 days later, after Journey of the Gods released, we got the Rift S version of Vader Immortal, and this is something like Journey of the Gods that we've been anticipating for a while now. And yeah, I tried it out just before we started this broadcast here, and just to check it out and see what it was like. I played through the entire episode again, and yeah, definitely a real difference here graphically. The biggest thing that caught my eye was how much better the lighting is. The lighting in this thing is phenomenal now, where it was pretty basic standard stuff on the Quest. Of course, the foveated rendering gone now. Everything crystal clear and looks very well, very good. I mean, everything else. I mean, it's largely the same experience. It does look better, but the immersion level was about the same. The sound was phenomenal on both. The handling, pretty much everything else was the same. So it is a very real graphics bump, more so than the other Quest ports. But again, I think that the Quest version is a very accurate representation of this game. And if you had to pick, which you don't, it's cross-buy. If you had to pick and you chose Quest, I could absolutely understand it. Anyway, Roots, what did you think about Vader?
Besides the fact that whoever's video this is I grabbed, they took so long looking at their hands. That's why I was laughing. Actually, I a couple things. I went into this, we kind of were talking about it in Discord. I think I had a bad day at work. I had an extended drive to Denver for no reason. Whatever it was, it did somewhat affect my opinion because I was not the best sold on it. I mean, it's a beautiful game, but I think that my biggest gripe with this, and it's nothing with the experience or the game, is Star Wars is just has been blowing it the last 3 movies or whatever. And so I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth to begin with. And I know there's probably people screaming, throwing shit at their TV right now. But so I went into it with that, but I went back into it again today. And I completely saw everything you saw, the lighting, it's a beautiful experience. My biggest gripe is you get clipped, you walk into anything and you're getting a black screen. Like you accidentally walk into the robot as you're following them and everything goes black. And I know Alex was saying he didn't get that, I think, or one of you were saying you didn't see it too much, but it happened to me all the time, even today when I saw it. So they need to fix that. Like, let me somehow not have a completely dark screen if I happen to walk into something. But other than that, it's a phenomenal game. The lightsaber is my favorite thing. And I think Anthony was talking about this yesterday in his stream. Just the delay and the way it sounds. I must have been going through the whole thing, opening, closing, swiping my lightsaber once I got it. So that was super cool. And the best thing that I tried today that you guys suggested, the dojo. Oh my God. I can imagine that's one thing that I am jealous about not playing this on the Quest, is if I could spin around and do everything with my lightsaber and not have to worry about a cord tethering me. That would be really cool. But yeah, I think overall I really liked it. It's just again another reminder to me that our real life does affect how we see games, because it affected me huge. Night and day difference from one experience to the next. So
yeah, well, that thing you're talking about with clipping in the objects and everything going black, that's a real problem. I had that problem on the Quest, and you can hear me. I mentioned it in our review when we reviewed this game, that I was having that problem. And when I played it again today, exactly the same thing. It's too sensitive about where you are in the game map. And you'll be moving along. Like today, I was moving using only my thumbsticks, standing in the center of my play space, and I would use my thumbsticks to turn, and then it would tell me to get back in the middle of my play space. And I haven't physically moved at all. Just I've moved the map around me, and that was enough to trigger that. And it's way too sensitive. It's very immersion breaking, and I don't have very many complaints about this game, but that for sure is one of them. Alex, what did you think about Vader Immortal?
Yeah, just quickly, I don't know if you want to restart this video. I just don't want to spoil too much for people who've not played it. So if you just restart the Vader Immortal video. But yeah, just the thing, because it's like a playthrough, and we don't want to spoil it for people.
Good thinking.
After I've played this, obviously I've been waiting for it. My expectations were kind of low on this because I already knew that it was a interactive movie effectively, so I kind of already, in my mind, I was already expecting it to not have much in the way of interaction and you doing a lot. So it kind of exceeded my expectations in terms of, you do actually do more than I expected. With the little tool you open, you have to hack through switches and things, pull them off. And I like the hand interaction as well, like with the way you grab things. It felt like really polished, the way that you put your hand near something and then the way it animates, pick that thing up, and if everything felt solid and you could, grab it in different parts and the physics felt good, you could throw it around the room. That felt good. I think with this as well is that you've got to understand that the developers didn't want you to get frustrated. They didn't want you to get stuck anywhere. They kind of wanted you to just flow with it like a movie. So there's no real difficulty, there's no real challenge with this, with the actual main story campaign to this. And when I was going through, I was following the robot. I was hanging back because I've heard a lot of people say if you go past the robot, it blacks out and tries to stop you from doing it. So I think it is quite restrictive. Obviously, there's times where you stood in one spot and you physically can't move because you've got to watch a certain sort of cinematic. That didn't bother me too much, but I can understand why people were a little frustrated if they wanted to do more. But what I will say is, I'll quickly just touch on the black thing. I didn't have that happen much, but I did have it happen occasionally where, especially with the climbing, when I was climbing things, sometimes it just clipped through an object and I'd have the screen go. But I didn't have it happen a lot, so I don't know if maybe, I don't know sure what that is with you guys having it more than me, but they do need to reduce the sensitivity down.
I think you nailed it. My thing is I don't want to sit back. I didn't hear ahead of time. I didn't watch any Justin and Wes's review. I didn't want to watch anything about it, so I didn't know anything about any clipping. So I didn't hang back. And even if I did hear about it, I don't want to hang back. Like, I want that robot following my ass. I'm already up there. I'm like, let's go, dude. So I was probably trying to go ahead a little bit too fast and was encountering more clipping issues. But that's the thing, is most people aren't going to know. Especially for people that are brand new, and maybe that's their first game they try on the Quest, and they're like, what the fuck, man, everything's going black all of a sudden. You're like, we know what that is, but they don't know. I don't know. They need to fix it. It's such a glaring thing that that needs to be fixed on such a cool game that it's just can kind of mess it up, I guess.
Yeah, they just need to turn the sensitivity down, like increase the area. That's all they need to do. That was the main thing I'd probably say. Like when it did happen to me, it's very jarring. It does take you out of the experience, so you don't want that. But other than that, I loved the actual main story and the feeling of being in a Star Wars film. It was really good. The environments, really, like the graphics on the Rift, I thought was really great. I mean, the lighting's great. The textures are high textures. It didn't feel like a port from the Quest, which is all the others have. So that's the big plus of that. The one thing that I will say though is that I don't really see a lot of people talking about when I'm on Reddit and stuff, and I'm reading people talking about the game and how short it is and all these frustrations. There's a lightsaber dojo, which I thought was going to be kind of just a bit basic training sort of thing, but it's actually a proper, fully fleshed out game on its own. and I've put an hour into that. I think there's about 40 different levels, and I'm up to 18, and I've put about an hour in. So there's going to be at least a good 2.5 hours just doing that lightsaber dojo. And the way that they do, you can tell that this is a polished AAA experience with the way they've done the lightsaber, with the way you can feel it pulsating through your hand, and then when you move it around, you've got the sounds and you've got the energy flowing through your hands, and it just feels really well done. They've obviously put a lot of effort and time into that lightsaber, into deflecting the lasers. And it starts out very simple with these little steer robots, and you've got to cut them down, and sometimes they move fast. You miss them. Then you get these droids that come in, and you've got to deflect laser beams while you're trying to fight off people with lightsabers, and they give you like little sound notifications to let you know where they're coming from. So I've got these big headphones that I have on, and this was the only game where I was literally moving my head around that fast. My headphones were literally flying off my head because I was like trying to look around. And I didn't have any problems with the 360. The thing what I was doing was if I had to flick around 180, I just make sure I flick around the other way. Like, so rather than spinning around, I just go back and forth. And I had no issues with it, and like I'm up to level 18 now. So
I don't know how you did do that, man. I got to like level 4 or 5, and it gets crazy, man. There's those balls, it's those balls from like Star Wars that Luke, trained with or whatever. Yeah. And they're like shooting lasers, and they're everywhere. And I didn't even have stuff coming around 360. And I could see exactly what I would do. I would do 180, but just the freedom to know you don't have to, and then to like literally spin around like fast. And I just can imagine that this would be a Quest game that I would have a lot of fun in the dojo, and I would imagine Wes probably will dojo it up in the Quest every once in a while just to check it out. But I don't know, man. It's definitely that. I think the dojo to me was more fun than the whole experience.
It's worth the price. It's worth the price just for the dojo, in my opinion. I've had more fun with that. You can spend a good 2 or 3 hours if you go through all the levels once, and then you've got stars, so you can go back through and get the stars. I mean, I won't do that, but I want to at least go through all the levels once. And I mean, I got to level 14, and I had to do about 5 or 6 times to get through it because it gets hard. Because they like do these little noises before they do it, so you're kind of listening for the noises. You've got your lightsaber out, and you do start to, like, you're standing like this, and then like there'll be a droid that's firing lasers at you, and you're deflecting them back, and then one of the droids with the lightsabers coming back, and he's starts moving his thing around. You've got to kind of predict where he's going to strike, and if you just hold your lightsaber up, you can block it. But if you time it right and you actually hit it back, then you can do a strike, so you can hit it back and then strike and cut through the droid. It feels really good when you start to get the hang of that. And I've just got to a point now, whereas after level 15, they have these silver droids, which are like bigger and they're faster than the other ones, so they less predictable. You've got to be quicker at reacting to their strikes. They take two hits to kill them, so it progresses really nicely, and they've done a really good job with the way that you can tell that this isn't just an afterthought. This is a full game on its own, and the way that it progresses, and you have to get better. You have to get better at doing the game, otherwise you're just not going to be able to get through the levels. So it's really, really well done, and I can't wait to get back in and do the dojo again. To be honest with you, that's the only game. That's the main game I want to play again. So it's definitely worth the £7.99 or the £9.99 just for that. The interactive movie is a bonus as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, definitely. Star Wars Vader Immortal, definitely, easily the best of the Quest ports as far as the upgrade coming from Quest to Rift. Also, I would say a must-own for any Star Wars fan. It's a no-brainer. But even if you're not a Star Wars fan, if you own an Oculus Rift or an Oculus Quest, this is a no-brainer. It's a great title, and the value proposition of this for $10, guys, is it underpriced? I feel like it kind of is underpriced.
With the dojo thing, I'd say it is. I mean, I'd pay more. I love that dojo, and it's not even. I mean, it's fun having the lightsaber and everything being Star Wars, but just the gameplay is solid. I mean, that is the thing is you've got the interactive movie where you don't really do much. And then you've got an actual game with really solid gameplay. So you've got like 2 games in one almost.
Yeah, you've got the first act of a full-fledged Star Wars production. You legit feel like you're in this thing because the audio is so authentic to the movies. The lightsabers, the aircraft, everything sounds like a Star Wars movie. And the music, I don't know if it's composed. I think it's all digitally done, but it sounds like John Williams music from Star
Mm-hmm.
Wars. So an absolutely top-notch experience. One of the better uh, games I've ever played in terms of production quality, and yeah, definitely a must-own for anyone.
You said before, was in the Discord, this is the future. This feels like the future
Yeah,
to me
absolutely.
of storytelling. I mean, who wants to watch a movie? I don't watch movies anymore because I don't know. I find them very empty, just sitting there and watching a film. And this is just cements to me how much this is going to be the future. You're not going to be watching a movie. You're going to be in the movie. You're going to be the star of the movie. So
Yeah, we can see the future now with crystal clarity after this last month having Blood and Truth and then Vader Immortal. These very story heavy interactive experiences that aren't your conventional VR game, but still just a load of fun. And again, the value proposition versus a trip to the movie theater, it's not even it's a no contest. It's so much more
and
immersion.
if you've got like
Yeah.
kids like you have, Wes, who you can, I'm guessing you put your kids through this. It's like you buy this and you've got, they're probably going to have like 3-4 different people all play through it. It's awesome demo material. I mean, I wouldn't even put, as a demo, I would personally put people in the dojo. I mean, I think that's the best demo material out of all of it because you can put them on level 1 and they'll get talked through how to do it all, and it's really
Put them in
cool.
level 40.
Yeah,
40.
Yeah.
And if they're a Star Wars fan and you put them in the story version, that moment that Vader first enters the room, he has such an intimidating presence, and you kind of fanboy out a little bit standing in Darth Vader's presence. And it sounds like James Earl Jones' voice. I don't know if they synthesized it or if he actually came in and did the lines for it, but it sounded movie authentic. It was great.
I'm sure it was him because it was so good.
Yeah, anyway, the future is bright with these story-driven games. I can't wait for the second episode of this. Apparently, they've come out and said, obviously you already could tell from the story, but the second episode is going to focus more heavily on Force abilities. You're going to be able to use the Force. So, oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Anything else on Vader Immortal?
Buy it.
No, I guess one other thing that did bother me on the actual experience, and it just, I mean, it's a nitpicking thing, but and it's why I love the dojo so much. The fighting scenes were so scripted. It was like, block, hit, or block, hit, I don't want to play that way. I want to fight dirty, as soon as you, like as soon as you think you got something, I'm going to slice you and kill you, but I don't know. That was the only thing I meant to say that earlier, but, other than that,
Yeah, that was done intentionally though. Like I said, they didn't want you to die. They didn't want you to get frustrated. They didn't want you to have to get stuck on puzzles. They just wanted you to go through the movie like you were in a movie. And as soon as you die and you've got to restart stuff, then that takes you out of the experience. So that's why they did that. And then they've got the dojo there for the actual core gameplay. And they have put a lot of effort into that. The way it feels, you can tell that they've spent time fine tuning the lightsaber and everything. So it's worth it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think we spent way too much time on it.
that's right.
It's a common thing with melee combat. No one has cracked the code perfectly yet, and I think we're probably going to be a while before someone does. So, all right, staying with the theme here and Oculus exclusives, on Tuesday, when Journey of the Gods dropped by Turtle Rock Studios, there for just a little while, Face Your Fears 2 from Turtle Rock Studios dropped alongside it. And PD got on came online on Twitter and on Discord and said, "Hey everyone, Face Your Fears 2 is available on Rift S now." And quickly went to the Oculus store and nothing, not there. Coming soon. So apparently they dropped this one early, but it was only a couple of days early. So on Thursday, when Vader Immortal dropped, so did Face Your Fears 2. Now I am looking forward to trying this one out, but I personally have not been in to check it out yet. Alex, have you played it yet?
Oh yeah, I've been.
I was gonna say, holy shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Alex isn't going to play it. That's right.
He will, but yeah, he's got to work his way up.
All right. So, Roots, you got center stage on this one, buddy. You're the only one that's been in there. What'd you think about it?
Well, first off, I was warned that it wasn't that graphically that good, and that's not that long, and that if I can get past that, I should be good. So I went in with that mindset, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this looks fucking really good. Like, this doesn't look like it's downgraded. If it looks this good, if it's the same as the Quest, it looks phenomenal on the Quest. Now, granted, I don't know if it's my 2080 being super sampled to 1.5. I'm sure that helps. But I thought the graphics, the lighting were top notch. I didn't know exactly what to expect gameplay wise. I mean, I kind of listened, somewhat to Justin's review or talking about it, but I tried to tune out some of it when we did because I didn't want to ruin it. And there's so much to this game and so many things trying to kill you, and you can actually die. And I've done the story mode on both sides. I didn't finish either side. I just wanted to check them out. And then I also went, I guess you can start there's a spider thing where you can start in part of the experience where just the spiders come out. And there's a lot of really creepy shit. I would probably say I would donate $20 to VR 365 to watch Anthony do that cabin with the spiders coming out, because it was good, man. It was the atmosphere, jump scares, everything was top notch. I was blown away. I think for the cost of what I paid for it, which is $20, I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. And I think Anthony did play this game up to that point, and when the spiders bust through the door, he's just like, nope, taking it off. Now, he said he was going to go back in and make himself do it, but I don't know. I don't know if he ever did or not.
Well, one of the spiders is a huge Black Widow looking thing, and that's what he says gets him is the Black Widow. I mean, it looks like a real Black Widow that's, as big as, 6 heads,
Yeah, well, it definitely looks awesome. I played the first Face Your Fears recently for the first time, and I wasn't very impressed with it. There was a couple of them that were pretty cool. The skyscraper thing I really did like. I thought that was outstanding. The left door that you go in, that was very good. But the overall view of that app was that it wasn't much. So now that they've changed the format, they're giving you a campaign that you can play through. I think that's going to do this game a world of good. Now, taking that aside, okay, yes, we know that it's better to play through a story than to sit stationary. But the gameplay itself, are you doing much here?
Yeah.
Is there fun gameplay here, or is it just kind of like a walk?
No, it's so much different than Face Your Fears 1. Like you said, you pretty much just sat there and you experienced it. You couldn't even duck underneath the sheets of the bed, so I watched people try to do that. But here you've got different puzzles, you've got different things coming out. You've got to throw things at it. You pick up stuff, you find keys, there's different, you're actually getting to decide which direction you want to go. And it just makes you feel like you're actually going through here looking for your sister in this house. I think that's what this one is here. And then driving in the car. I mean, it's a whole different level compared to the first one. Even if you're not comparing it to the first one, never tried it. I think anybody that likes horror games or likes, experiences, game experiences will like it. It was definitely, I think it's done very well.
Awesome. Yeah. Evil games are my jam. You know that. So definitely going to be hopping into this one soon. And check back. I'm sure I'm going to have a few things to say about it after I get through it. So, yeah, definitely look back next week, maybe the week after, and we'll probably bring it back up. Anything else either of you would like to say about Face Your Fears 2?
No, if we review it, then I'll brave it and I'll do this one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is if it's really that good, I'll probably want to review it. But we will cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yep.
All right, Oculus exclusives. That is the topic, and big news just a couple of days ago. Defector, the spy action game from Twisted Pixel that we've been waiting on for years now. We finally have a release date for Defector, and it will be releasing on July 11th for Rift and Rift S, $20. And this is the biggest point of debate right now among the VR community with this game. We've all been hyped for it. Every bit of the footage we've seen, it all looks great. Looks very cinematic, like we were talking about a moment ago with the Blood and Truth and the Vader. This looks like another game in that vein of a story-driven game. It's been said that this game is 4 to 5 hours long, but people are now concerned because it's only $20.
Can't win.
Yeah. Are either of you concerned about that? You think that the game that you're expecting should cost more than $20?
No,
I think it's cheap.
There's two thoughts, I mean, maybe you want everybody to buy it, and you want to, you think it's so good that everybody's going to pick it up for $20. There is those people that for $30 won't buy it. So it's kind of a hard thing to gauge, right? And it's funny because this is how I think, and I kind of laugh at it in general, but society is just fucking crazy. It's like we're gonna bitch if it's too cheap, we're gonna bitch if it's too expensive, I just want to bitch about something. So that's how I feel like most of everything goes. So I kind of take that with a grain of salt as well.
Right. Yeah, it's weird because a year ago, this is how good the last year of VR has gone. The year has been so good that our attitudes have changed. Last year, $20 was too much to pay for a game. This year, it's not enough. We want $40 games, And last year, graphics, graphics were everything. You hear VR players say that all the time. This year, people will avoid games like Journey of the Gods and Pistol Whip based just on how the trailer looks. So definitely a good problem to have, first world problems. But $20 I feel like is that mark. If they go higher than $20, where it's $25 or $30, they're not going to sell nearly as many copies because you can get a lot of great games for $20. That's kind of the price point where you start to go into premium content versus a very good indie game. Alex, what do you think about the pricing here? Is it something to be concerned about?
I was surprised. I mean, I would pay more. I mean, easily. I'd pay. I mean, it's like £15 for me, so I'd pay £20, no problem. 25, £30 if I'm honest. But I mean, I think what's happening with Oculus is that they want to have these big epic like Asgard's Wrath and Stormland, and obviously Lone Echo is going to be like a 9-10 hour game. And they want to charge probably, £40 or $40 and $50 for these games. So then when they're looking at this, they're thinking, well, this is only 4 or 5 hours, so we need to price this appropriately to that. And I think they've just decided, $20 is that sweet spot. Most people are going to buy it. Like if they sell like 100,000 at $20, that's still $2 million in revenue. I don't know how much this has cost them, but that's still a lot of money back in the pot. And I think it'll sell. I think most people will buy this at $20. I think, we could sell 100,000, 200,000 copies of this for that price, and they will get like 2, 3, 4 million back in revenue, which is, even though that's nothing compared to what these AAA flat games make, is still going to be good for getting the money back in and paying for the development of this game. And I think this is going to be incredible. hey, this looks like GoldenEye for the VR age. You know, it's you're an action hero. It's all over the top. It even says in the blurb that they put up on Oculus that it's not taking itself too seriously. It's kind of like a Too Fast, Too Furious sort of over the top action, jumping from one plane to another, and all these different scenarios and missions you're going to go through. And apparently there's diverging paths, so you go through and it won't be the same if you play again. You can go a different route. Like the one that they did on the showcase with the plane, you can go down into the garage area, get in a car and drive off the plane, and then jump to another plane, or you can bypass that completely. Just open a door. I saw a clip where there was out of the plane. There's a fighter jet, and he's got a machine gun shooting the fighter jet out of the plane, and then he jumps out of the plane, and it's like there's going to be so many crazy. This is the sort of thing I live for. You know, this is like the blood and truth of the PC side of things, and it's going to have lots of dialogue. I think this is going to be better than Blood and Truth in some ways because it's free locomotion. You've got more choice. You've got the option to walk around. You can have conversations and dialogue, which is going to change things. And yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be like stars. So depending on which way you do it, you get achievements, so I think this is going to be 4 or 5 hours, and I think it's going to be one that I probably will play through again and want to do it and see the different ways to play it and probably get 10 hours out of it. So.
Yeah, definitely. And, you saw it in our Blood and Truth review. I was speaking then about the quality of the voice acting in that game. And I said that the only other game, or something similar to this, the only other game on that level of voice acting and storytelling was Wilson's Heart. Wilson's Heart, which was developed by Twisted Pixel, who are making this game here. So I'm quite confident that this is going to be a quality experience. I think you said it. The Oculus has a lot of exclusives coming out this year, and they can't all be $40. Nobody's going to buy them all. So if this one's a little bit shorter than the other ones, then it makes sense to have this one be $20, especially during this period of time where all the companies are coming out with new hardware and they're jockeying to try to win new players to come into their ecosystem. A game like this can sway people into buying your hardware. If people are on the fence and don't know what to do, well, all these exclusives, that's definitely a very real motivator in the going the Oculus route. So I get it. Sell a bunch of these, put a good price on it. Sell a bunch of these, and people still have money to buy the next one when it comes out, and people are attracted to your platform. So makes perfect sense to me. I don't think it's anything to be alarmed about.
Well, especially since it's Oculus, Oculus has pretty much done this from the beginning. They've subsidized so many games. I mean, they're the reason Rec Room is free and keeps coming out with new stuff. And like, it just at some point, if it was another company, if it was just some random fucking game company, I might be a little worried, but every time I see a trailer for this game, it gets better. So, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, I saw a clip. There's a clip on the thing, and they've got this power glove. I don't know if you guys saw it, and it looked really funny. He pulls his inventory out, he pulls his power glove up, and he walks up to this guy and he just sends him flying. So I think there's going to be some really just over the top moments where you're just going to be able to just do what the fuck you want, and there's going to be different options to the way you play through it as well. So.
Yeah. I think it's going to be awesome. How many bad exclusives have they brought us?
Marvel is the only one, and that's just because it's not what people expected. I still think it's good. So
we're going to talk about that next week, hopefully. But yeah, that's another one that I never played, but it's better than I thought. So we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, that's the only one maybe that could be classed as a miss. But
right. They're always great, and for what it's worth, people like to hate on Facebook, but it's their money. They're the one that's driving the content on the PC side right now. All the great games, or most of them anyway, are coming from Facebook dollars. So so looking forward to this one, and looking forward to all of them pretty much. All right. Speaking of Oculus exclusives, that's what we're talking about. And one more one more piece of news pertaining to Oculus, and that was we found out just a couple of days ago that Respawn, the developer that brought Flat Gamers the Titanfall first-person shooter series, they have been working on a what they're calling a AAA VR first-person shooter. It's still untitled, but we found out that this September at OC6, we're going to get our first look at this game. Now, this game was first announced at OC4 2 years ago. It was slated for 2019 release, and then they just went radio silent. We haven't heard anything about it since then, but now we know that the game must be getting close to completion because they're going to show it off in just a couple months' time at OC6. I'll just throw it out there. Have either of you played Titanfall?
Yeah, I played the second one, and it's got a great single-player campaign, which is quite rare nowadays. You don't see these guys are the original Infinity Ward guys, so they actually were the original Call of Duty creators all the way up to, I think, Modern Warfare 2. So these guys know how to make a good single-player and multiplayer game. And Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, Apex Legends, they're making this. I think it's going to be an awesome single-player experience. My prediction, Nostradamus Ginger, World War II, and I think it'll have multiplayer as well. And I think it'll be the best single-player first-person shooter that we've seen in VR so far.
Nostradamus Ginger.
That was,
I think you're right. Go ahead, Wes.
No, I was just going to say that was what I was wondering. I've never played Titanfall. I was wondering, is this going to be just another multiplayer deal, or are these guys, do they put together epic single-player campaigns? And I think you just answered it there, that we're going to probably most likely get a campaign to play through here, which is wonderful. Roots, have you played Titanfall? Are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it. I haven't played it. I've played many a Call of Duties, and even just, the footage that they're showing from this, I don't even know if this is from years ago, like early on or what, but it just, I'm ready for a Call of Duty or something of that nature in VR. And I've said it before, I would be completely 100% happy. Just put me in there, let me use the joystick to spin around. Don't even let me hold the gun, just like I'm in it and using the controller just as it is. I would take it that way. I mean, obviously, I'd prefer to hold the gun. Well, no.
No.
Alex is dying inside a little bit. I just want a proper shooter game. I mean, Pavlov's great. Contractors is great. All of them are great, but they're not Titanfall, they're not Halo, they're not Call of Duty. That's what we're waiting for. And when that happens, I guarantee that will sell headsets. Even if it's a completely new series no one's heard of, and they see gameplay, it's going to get people in there. So,
and once again, it's an Oculus exclusive, so it's going to be good. And I'm not familiar with these games, but I know that they're highly regarded among flat gamers. So if
not
these
not just multiplayer though, the single player. But the Modern Warfare, you've not played Modern Warfare, have you?
No, I don't play those.
The single player of that was really, really good. There's like a sniper level where you have to go through and you've got like an AI which you have to time your shots together and stuff. It was groundbreaking.
Does it have a kayak though? That's my question. If it doesn't have a kayak, it's not a proper sniper game. So.
No.
But.
All right. Anyway, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Just another on the long list of Oculus exclusives. If they release this game this year, man,
it's going to be 2020.
You think so?
No, it'll be 2020. We're going to have Lone Echo 2, which is the beginning of the year, and then we'll probably have this as a big summer blockbuster that comes out next year.
Okay.
Again, Nostradamus.
Yeah. We're going to hold you to it.
I'm fine with that. Honestly, there's so many other games that I would be okay with a little more space in between them so that we can enjoy them. But definitely looking forward to it. Just something else on a long list of things to look forward to this year. Okay, anything else on this game from Respawn or any other on the larger topic of Oculus exclusives?
Nope.
All right, so that wraps that as a topic. We've got some more news here, some other things that were announced this week, and it's not going to be so closely linked as those first 4 or 5 topics were. But first, let's talk about Main Fan Special, Vanishing Realms. This was a game that Main Fan talked about on one of the last episodes that he took part in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Fantasy adventure game. Looked really cool. I still haven't played it, but apparently it was a HTC Vive launch title, but it's early access, and it's still considered early access today. But there's 2 chapters today, and it was just announced that we're going to be getting 2 more chapters for a grand total of 4? 4.
Yeah.
4. So there's going to be chapters 3 and 4 added into the story. It's unclear if that's going to be the end. It's going to come out of early access and be finalized, or if they're going to add more content even still in the future. But apparently, a very popular, very good indie game is about to get a whole lot better. Guys, have either of you checked this game out since Main Fan recommended it to the world?
I played it, yeah, but I think this is going to be paid DLC. If I'm honest, I don't think they're going to give this free. I've got a feeling, which I don't know if people are going to like or not, but I don't think they're going to include it as part of the game.
Okay, so they're going to add
my prediction.
Yeah, I don't think people will like it, and I know people won't like it because, like I said, they bitch about everything.
But yeah, it's unclear. They haven't said that. It would be odd for an early access game with only 2 levels to do that. But I think if they priced it low enough, they probably could get a little more money out of it. I think they'd probably be better off just taking the headline and trying to sell more copies to begin with. You know, you can't drive new sales of your game if people are going to have to turn around and pay again to get the full experience.
True.
Roots, did you try it out?
Yeah, I played it back when he was talking about it, and I really liked it. It was very surprising. I liked the looting, just the amount of things you can pick up and do and interact with. My guess is I agree with you. I can't see it being a paid DLC, only from the standpoint is, like you said, not only are you going to lose the people that maybe they don't want to pay for it again, but I'm going to have to buy the game and the DLC, and it's a 3-year-old game, and you have Shadow Legends and all these games that are very similar to it that like maybe I just don't pick it up. Maybe I pick up something that just came out this week instead of 3 years ago. But I mean, who knows? You know, I guess it'll be interesting to find out.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'll pose the question to both of you. If it turns out that you can pay $5, let's say, to double the amount of content of this game, will you do it?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I would.
That's the thing. This should have been taken out of early access. It's been in early access so long, like 3 years. The game was finished in terms of what he'd already put in there. So I don't know why he didn't just take it out of early access and then either do this as a second game or do it as DLC, because it's just why have a game just sat there silent in early access for 3 years with no updates.
It could be that. I mean, they were building up till right now. Like if you had in your mind that I'm going to do this game and it's going to have 4 parts, but I only have 2 ready, well, I'll release the 2 now, and while people are enjoying it, I'll work on the next 2 and then release them. And then, I mean, I agree. 3 years is a long time for early access. I think they said that it's going out of early access, right? Or is it still going to be in early access after these 2 chapters come? Like Alex, like, who knows? That's the thing. A lot of times nobody knows. So yeah,
this developer just, I don't know, it's just weird with the way he's done this. He's just gone completely silent for so long, and then people have been asking for so long what's happening, and he's not really said anything, and now all of a sudden, and apparently it's coming like in a couple of weeks or
imminent, right?
Recent.
Is it?
it was alluded to that it's very soon, but no definite time given. Um, it's ready. It's ready to roll whenever he wants to. I'm sure he's just going to pick a spot with the schedule of releases and try to pick a week or two that's devoid of any other big titles. And I mean, if he's charging for it, if he's not going to charge for it, then he can just drop it at midnight, unannounced. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't play this game. It's one of a plethora of this style of game. There's no shortage of these games, but I have been considering it on recently, just on the strength of how much I'm enjoying Journey of the Gods. I'm playing Journey of the Gods. I'm thinking, man, this is so great. I'd like to have a game like this with better graphics. Well, here you go, Vanishing Realms, right? So maybe
Journey of the Gods is better than this, in my opinion, the gameplay wise.
Right.
It does feel good.
Well,
Yeah, I agree.
right. Roots. Would you pay $5 for more content here?
I probably would. I mean, I'd have to play through the first two to justify it, but the game, there's enough. Even just watching the trailer here, there's enough going on, like so many different things, and I'm kind of curious to see what is in chapter 3 and 4. But yeah, $5 would be nothing really. I mean, I would still rather see it come in as a part of the whole game and have it bring the game together. But I also understand that I'm sure the developer wants to get paid for the last 3 years of work on these two. If anything, that would be more leaning towards making Alex's point valid. Nothing is free. So.
Yeah, I could definitely understand charging it, but charging for it. But if that's the route that he's going to go, then I think he's bungling it by staying in early access so long. If he's going to charge for it, this game should have came out of early access a year ago, and now there's paid DLC to add to it. But the fact that it's in early access now, 3 years later, only has 2 chapters, it speaks to me that this is probably going to be just a free update to the game, and then hopefully it'll come out of early access, and they'll either start working on a sequel or more paid DLC. Anything else here on Vanishing Realms?
Nope.
Oh, all right. So we move along to Immortal Legacy: The Jade Cipher. This is an awesome game, and when it was released, there was really only one criticism, and that was the control scheme. A lot of people complain because it's so different. Button locomotion on move controllers is something that takes a while to learn. So after you learn it, you don't want to have to learn a different configuration. And a lot of people, myself included, were taken aback by the odd button configuration. So we demanded options. And they said, okay, guys, we'll give you options. And then they went silent. It took them a while, not only to program and write the patch, but to get it through Sony quality. But finally, months later, here we are, and we now have release of the Immortal Legacy: The Jade Cipher update, which gives us new button configurations. It allows us to have options with the blinders. You see, before, if you wanted to turn on smooth turning, it was a forced blinder, and it wasn't just a little bit. It was a heavy, dark vignette that ruined the game and made it impossible to use smooth turning. So apparently you can turn that off now. Before, the movement was kind of slow. Now there's a toggle so that you can, or a slider rather, so that you can control the speed of your character. And there's 3D rudder support for those of you that have picked up the 3D rudder. Also, concurrently with this patch, the 3D rudder was released, so now that's available for purchase. So, the patch that everyone has been waiting on is here. So, Roots, you're the only one of the two of you that have a PlayStation VR. I'm telling you that this is a great game. Are you going to pick it up?
I want to play it. Yeah, I'm going to look for it to be on sale, but I definitely want to play it for sure. And I think it's really cool, and it shows a lot about the developers. That sounds like they listen to every single thing that people didn't like about it and fixed it. And it baffles me. It's kind of like when you have a customer service company that comes out and just nails it, whether it be like pest control, like myself, when I go out and just do a phenomenal job in people's houses. But, you know, because I see it, you know, it's like, and then you have some other, you know, yokel dude comes over and it's like, what did he do? You know, it makes no sense to me, these developers, like, why not do what they're doing? Like, listen to the community, fix the things that people want fixed, and then you have a community that's like, man, this is a good game. And so many people, developers say, it's almost they take an elitist, you know, you're a peon. What do you know? Like, well, I'm a gamer. I'm the one that plays your game, you know. I just wish more developers, I guess my long story short, I wish they would listen a little bit more to us people playing the game.
Yeah, kudos to Viva Games, by the way. Exactly what you're saying is correct. This is a small team. It's not a big development company. The sheer quality of this game alone is shocking. No one expected it to be as good as it is. And the fact that they did fix every major complaint that people had is a definite credit to them. Very receptive to criticism, and great move. And again, this is a great game for any PSVR gamer that likes adventure games. There's not enough of this stuff on PSVR as it is. This is one of the better examples. Highly recommended that you pick it up before, and I highly recommend it now that they've worked all the kinks out. So, yeah, definitely one. I haven't finished it yet. I'm deep into it. I'm going to be finishing this one soon, and I guess whenever Roots gets it and works through it, we'll do a review.
When are you going to finish Resident Evil 7? I know you've been cracking on that for a while, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I need to finish it. I'm about 75% through it, and yeah, you're right. I need to finish that one for sure. But I don't know. I'm going to get to it at some point. It's on the long list of games that I need to play. So I guess whenever I find the time.
Cool.
But all right. I guess if there's nothing else on that, we've already done Beat Saber Quest 360 mode. So now we move on to Penn and Teller VR. All right. So this was just announced a few days ago. It's called Penn and Teller, frankly, unfair, unkind, unnecessary, and underhanded. It's going to release on June 27th for Quest, Rift, and Vive, and on July 9th for PSVR, and I'm pretty sure it's $20 on all platforms. This is an interesting app. It's not a game per se. This is a kind of a social experiment in VR. It's meant for you to put your friends in and kind of, I guess, pull pranks on them. The title itself is abbreviated and can be read off as Penn and Teller, F-U, you, and you. So it's got that kind of spirit, kind of a joking, pranking spirit to it. And, it's $20. Alex, are you willing to pay $20 for something like this? It isn't a game. It's just basically intended to be something fun that you can do and subject your friends to.
I ain't got any friends, so no. I was actually interested in this, but then I was listening to Nathan talk about it on the F Reality podcast, and he was saying that he's tried it, and I think a lot of it is like a party game almost, where you're putting people in there. He was saying that there's a point where you've got like you're inside the mouth of someone, so you can see the teeth, and then you have to pass your controller to someone else, and then the controller becomes a gun. So then someone else in the room has to shoot the bullet, and you have to try and catch the bullet with your teeth. So obviously it's not something you can play by yourself, and it's interesting the way that they're doing it, where they're using the controller in an interesting way for people outside who aren't in VR to be able to then interact with you in VR. So I think that sounds cool, but like I say, I ain't got anyone to play it with. So if that's how it is, and that's the entire game needs to be played with other people, then it's something that I won't be able to jump in, really.
Right. I think that this is a good idea for a concept for an app. I think it's perfect for Oculus Quest. I think that this would probably have made a good exclusive for Oculus Quest uh, because it is so interactive with your friends that the Quest that's what that's made for. So probably was something that was initially thought up and developed for that. I am a fan of Penn and Teller. I think they're hilarious. Um, as a side note, Penn and Teller did a game years ago, flat game called Desert Bus, and a lot of people don't know this. The Desert Bus was ported to VR, and it's free on Steam. So fans of Desert Bus can go on Steam right now and experience it first person in VR if you like. There is a co-op mode that's been added to it, so your friends can be the passenger.
It's supposed to be really amazing, and you're supposed to be doing loads of cool stuff for 8 hours straight. And yeah, I've heard this is like a bit of a meme sort of game, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it looks absolutely awesome. So definitely recommended. But Roots, what do you think about this? Do you think you're going to be shelling out $20?
I don't know if I would pay $20 for it. I'd play it. I'd check it out. I think it's cool that, like you said, because you're a fan, you have an idea of the draw of what it would somebody that really. Because I haven't watched too much of their stuff. Some of it I've seen is funny, but if you're a fan, maybe it's something again that tips you over, or maybe you were like, man, screw it, I'm going to get the Quest. This is cool. I've always wanted to be, hanging out with Penn and Teller or whatever. So I think that as we see more and more mainstream people doing things like this, I just think it's good for VR. Whether or not I would buy it, I still think it's good overall. Maybe I would probably buy it for $10. Like if I hadn't played it and it was on sale for $10, I would pick it up. But $20, for me seems a little steep for something that I'm not invested in these characters already. That's a lot to do with it as well. So
and even for me as a fan, I think I'm probably going to wait for a sale here. I think it's probably a little high for what this is going to be. This is going to be one of those I'll watch for on Viveport. Hopefully, Viveport Infinity will offer this, and I'll have a chance to check it out. That said, this just goes back to what we were saying last week about how game developers have had time with the hardware now, and we're finally starting to see some innovation with gameplay and new ideas, new concepts for games that were not possible before VR. This is just another example of that, and I'm glad to see it on that front, that this is something new, a new way to use VR, and we're seeing more and more of this all the time now. So. All right, moving along. Scream VR. This is this is an educational, interactive experience based on the classic artwork of Edvard. How do you pronounce the last name? Was it Munch?
Munch.
Yeah, Edvard Munch.
Munch.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone knows this picture. You may have not known it's called The Scream, but everyone has seen this thing. And this release, it's a free experience. It released on Steam VR a couple of days ago. And we all downloaded it and checked it out, I think yesterday. So we'll start with Alex here. What did you think about The Scream?
I was hesitant because I read someone left a review and saying it's like one of the best horror games they've ever played and all this shit, and it's not. I mean, it's a cool little experience that kind of talks you through the paintings, kind of puts you inside them in a way and explains the thought process behind why he painted the way he did, and the whole thing with the holding the hands up to the temple. I like the ending as well. I won't spoil it, but I like the way they finished the game. I don't know if you guys thought that was cool with the way that you I don't want to say anything without spoiling it, but it's a cool way to end it. And there was one little jump scare, but it didn't really get me. So it wasn't scary. So don't worry if you don't like scary stuff. I didn't find it really scary, but it's cool. The graphics are really good. Like when you're in the gallery area, it looks kind of photorealistic. The painting itself really detailed. You can actually look in, and it's like got texture like a real painting. And as you can see from the video I was playing now, you can interact with it. It's not just a passive thing. You can actually touch the painting and things happen, and you do things. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It's worth it. It's free, so check it out.
Yeah, the photorealistic aspect of it was the first thing that I was taken aback by. Now that said, I have a new higher resolution headset I'm still getting used to. I just started super sampling for the first time. So I was in this is one of the first experiences I have experienced at 150% resolution, which may have had a lot to do with it. But I was literally awed by how crisp and clear it was. I put my nose 2 inches away from this painting, and it looked nearly real, man. I couldn't see any pixels. I looked for them and could not see the pixels in my Rift S. I could see the paint cracking from the picture I was looking at, but no pixels. So that was the first thing that took me by surprise. Secondly, the mood of it. It's not a horror game like that person had described, but it does have a very dark feel to it. And you know, I don't want to go on too much. It's a free experience. You guys should definitely all check it out. It's worth free, and it's worth your 15 minutes that it takes to play through it. Yeah, without going into it too much, you do get put into different scenarios that kind of place you in the mindset of the artist at the time, and the narrator gives you some history as well. So 100% recommend for me. Had this come out a month ago, I probably would have recommended it in our piece we did last week of the 6 free experiences that you should check out. This probably would have been one of them because I was very impressed. Roots, what did you think about the screen?
I really was blown away by it. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't think it was going to be a horror movie. I mean, I knew that it was about the picture, and I just saw it as an artistic piece of work. And what I thought was really interesting about that is that it's an artistic piece of work about an artistic piece of work. And so I thought that dynamic was really cool and different. And it made learning about this whole thing, like I didn't know anything about what the basis behind this painting is. And I'm not going to let people know either. You're going to have to go find out in this thing, which I would recommend. But like I felt like this would be really cool for a kid to watch in school, like, you know, like, or the similar aspects of it, like the way they did it. It made me, I'm going to remember everything that I learned about this artist and everything about this picture probably forever because of the way that it was all done. And, you know, I can imagine something that's not limited to art, like something about the Civil War or World War II or, you know, whatever subject you pick. Even the credits were unique, you know, everything, man. And, you know, I like the segues between scenes, the way that they brought scenes together and how you would feel things and you get closer and you can hear the noise gets louder. And so you're like, well, am I supposed to touch it? You know, it just, blew me away. And then this volcano, wow, like the presence. And I like you, I cranked up my super sample to 1.5 like I always do. And I was telling you, I wonder anybody that has a 1080 Ti or above and you're not super sampling, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Seriously. But, everything about this is another thing that blew me away, kind of like wolves in the wall, to where I was just like, oh my God. And at free, I can't imagine one reason why you wouldn't try it. Like, you know, even if you hate things like this, it's free. There's nothing to lose. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And one more thing I'd like to say about it without spoiling too much. There is a point during the experience where the painting itself starts to do something kind of trippy. When this happens, walk up to the painting, you know, directly centered with the figure that you're looking at, and make sure that you're close enough to it that it takes your entire field of view, the painting does. just do that because it looks really cool. And you'll see why when it happens. It gives this illusion of movement that's really crazy. But anything else on the Scream VR?
Well, I hope they do more like it because I just I can't say enough that this is what I mean. I love playing games, but this is what I love about VR the most. Like when I can take something that's applicable in real life or something that meant something to somebody, this artist, and I can learn exactly where they came from, and I can learn it in such a way. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm gushing again, like I was with Wolves, but it was just so good. It was good.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think it's like you say, VR is perfect for education because you soak it in so much more than you ever would just reading a textbook or watching something on a flat screen. What did I do recently? That one you've got on your Spheres.
Oh yeah, Spheres.
Spheres. That we need to talk about that another episode. But that's awesome. That's like, yeah. We need to cover that separately. It deserves its own spot. But yeah. Just anything like that. I love like the World War II thing we were talking about the other week, where you're in the bomber and you just feel it more, and you remember it like it's an actual memory. So yeah, VR is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. My kids are homeschooled, and 100% I'm going to put them into this. This will be quite a lesson for them. I'm sure it will make quite an impression.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
okay.
So moving on. Okay, so we have just a couple more bullet points here to touch on. The Spy That Struck Me is coming out of early access. It just came out of early access on the 14th of June for the flat version and the 19th of June for the VR update that was given to it. They say this is it, that they're done with it. This, of course, is a stealth spy game that is developed by Catland, where you play as a super spy armed with a shrink ray. Very fun concept, a very good-looking game from the trailer. I never tried this. I think, Roots, didn't you try this one before the patch?
Oh, yeah. I tried this one before the patch, and I tried it with a 1070 before the patch. And even MainFam will tell you, because we talked briefly on it when it first came out. Even with his 1080 Ti, it was not running the best. It was optimized horribly for VR. So when I saw that they released this patch and was coming out, I was excited, so I jumped in there just to check it out and see if it was, because it was really unplayable for me on my 1070, and it was butter smooth. And as I was playing through it, and I was like, wow, this is really good. They did a good job. And then I dawned on me, well, it could be the 2080. I don't know, but I'm assuming it was more the optimization because, like I said with Justin, his 1080 Ti, it was running to where he could play through stuff, but it was not good. But I really like this game so far. I've only scratched the surface, as Anthony would say, and I know Alex was talking about trying this out in the near future, and we'll probably talk about it in more depth when we do it. But it's definitely what I've tried is really cool, and obviously in VR, being able to shrink yourself or shrink other people, and they use that mechanic really well, just like you're seeing in this video, where you'll have to shrink yourself to get through to a different area and make yourself bigger. But the key is you only have so many charges, and then you can get more. But so they do, you do have to use it wisely. But I know, Alex, I know you were having trouble getting into this in the VR mode. I don't know if that's normal or what the deal is.
I think it's just because I'm trying to do it on like a shared game, because they've done the VR part as a DLC, so you have to download the DLC, which is free. But every time I try and download it, it just launches the game in flat. So I'm just going to buy it. It's only £11.99. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to play through it next week, and then we could probably review it. But it looks really cool. I like the look of it. I like the concept of it. Like one thing that's really good in VR is the sense of scale. So when you're going to be shrinking yourself down and looking up at a desk that's 20 feet high or something, that's going to be really cool. So I want to play this game. now it's actually out of early access and it's finished. I will pick it up and I'll play through it next week, and we can talk about it more in depth next week.
Yeah, definitely a cool concept. One of the easiest ways to show off the power of VR is by playing with scale, and very large environments and objects especially highlight this. So besides being what looks to be a very fun and polished flat game, there's that. There's the whole idea of playing with the scale, and yeah, looks cool. Definitely look forward to checking it out. All right, so that was going to be it for the news this week, but right after I finished up writing the show, I went on just to check and see if there's anything cool on sale on the PlayStation Store. I didn't expect much because we just had the Days of Play sale, and that just ended. I didn't expect anything, but surprise, surprise, there is a very awesome flash sale going on the PlayStation Store right now. So it's just a weekend thing. It's only going to run through 11 a.m. Monday morning. So if you're watching this on Sunday or early Monday, go now, because these aren't going to be here Monday evening. But I'm going to read off, not all, but just a few of the notable deals that I saw as I was browsing the PSVR catalog on the PlayStation Store. All right, so we have A Fisherman's Tale, 35% off at $10. All right, this next one is what really made me decide to do this segment. I feel like anybody who doesn't have Arizona Sunshine, it's on sale for 75% off right now. $10.
Bargain.
Yeah, it's a steal for that game. We just reviewed it last week, and I'll say what good timing on our reviews last week.
Yeah,
we
did as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did Archangel, and our review released the day that it was the Oculus Daily Deal. We did Carly and the Reaper Man, and the day that we released that, the developer, who was the developer of that one again? I had it written down here. I forget what they.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyway,
good people though.
Anyway, they announced that game is coming to PSVR August 27th. So yeah, good timing on that one as well. And now this Arizona Sunshine we talked about, and now it's on sale for $10. And like I said before, this game is a staple in my household. It's a great co-op game. So anyone who doesn't have Arizona Sunshine, it goes on sale a lot. It does not go on sale for $10 a lot. So pick it up.
Let me ask you this: for somebody that has it on PC, is it worth picking up on PlayStation for $10, or is it this?
Well,
you know,
only if you have someone that has a PSVR that you want to play with, and they don't have access to PC VR.
Okay.
It's not. You're not going to gain anything from playing through the.
There's no
solo.
No
I mean,
aim
it's a
controller.
good port, but right. Well, no, yeah, that is right. I guess that is correct. I haven't played it with the aim controller, but it does support the aim controller. So, yeah, perhaps. I generally, when I go into it, I like the pistols, but I haven't tried it with the two-handed weapons and the aim controller. So, you know, that's another aspect I didn't even think about. So, yeah, maybe it is just $10. You know. So, yeah, you may want to pick it up for that. But moving on, Bloody Zombies is half off, $7.50. Discovery. If you're a fan of Minecraft, Discovery is a Minecraft clone with multiplayer support so that you can link up and play with your friends online. $2 for Discovery, 80% off, $2. Eagle Flight, 67% off at $6.50. Electronauts, 61% off, $8.
Fun game.
Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, half off, $7.50. Pinball Effects 2 VR, 60% off, or $6. Psychonauts and the Rhombus of Ruin, 85% off, $3. that's not the best game in the world
For $3.
but it's okay. It's definitely worth $3. Race the Sun, 80% off, $2. Sports Bar, $9.
Good for the pool.
Yeah,
It's got a good pool simulator. That is.
yeah. People say that's better than the Hustle Kings VR or whatever the pool game is that came out. But let's say Sports Bar has better pool. So, Theseus, $4.
Worth it.
Yeah, Thumper, $5, and I say that's worth it. Thumper's a lot of fun. Torn, 67% off, $10. Transference, a must-own game, 60% off, $10.
Buy it.
Yeah.
Buy it for sure.
Now, don't even think about it.
And
Right?
yeah, do it now. Don't think. Right. Ultra Wings, half off, $10. And I think that was the last one I listed here. So yeah, a lot of good deals to be had there. A lot of staple VR titles. I'd say the highlights of the thing for me are the Arizona Sunshine, obviously for $10, and the Transference, also $10. And Alex, anything else that stuck out there for you? Great deals.
I've not really looked, so I don't know. I've not really looked at them.
All right, Roots, anything I just listed there that you think was a particularly good deal?
Actually, there's quite a bit there. I mean, Transference, Fisherman's Tale, both of those, Electronauts. There's quite a few good ones on there. I mean, if you only had like $10 to spend on a game, and I think if Arizona Sunshine's got to be the pick, really. Unless you've played it already. Well, think about it. If you had like $60 or $50 or whatever it adds up to, or maybe a little bit more, you could have that whole list, and there's a lot of good games on there. So I mean, it's the time to pick some up. So,
Yeah, or say that you're a new PSVR owner, and maybe you got the Pro. I don't know if it's still the case, but used to when you bought a PSVR Pro, they give you a coupon. Don't throw away all the paperwork inside your box because there's a $10 coupon code in there. And say you don't have any money, you just have $10 and you have no games. Well, you could pick up Discovery for $2. You could pick up Race the Sun for $2.
Thumper.
Theseus, $4. Yeah, Thumper, $5. So you could get a handful of games for a very small amount of money there. And now all of a sudden, between the free stuff and the very cheap stuff, you've got a little library going here now. So definitely a good sale, probably better overall than the Days of Play sale was, but limited time only. You got less than a day left. Jump on it. Get on there now. Buy whatever you want.
Whatever hits your fancy.
Whatever tickles you there. Tickles you there.
Tickles your
down
pickle.
There. Yeah. Whatever tickles your pickle, pick it up. You know who else will tickle your pickle, right?
My mom.
My mom.
Oh.
All right. So we have one more segment here. It's a little something different, something that we normally don't do. We generally tend to stick to news and reviews on this show, but the first day of summer has come and gone, and we are standing at what is going to be an epic season, one in the first of a series of epic seasons for VR games. So we thought we would just list off what we've got to look forward to in the next 3 months that we know of. Of course, there's going to be surprises. This list is going to be added to on a weekly basis, but we're going to just talk about literally off the top of our heads what we know is coming. And like I said, this isn't something we put a bunch of research into. This is just what we thought of, that's coming. So VR games of summer coming very, very soon. So first of all, there's Rogan, Thief in the Castle. And I just want to say about this one, we know it's coming on the 5th of July. This is a $40 game, guys. So those of you that are nervous about Defector because it's not expensive enough, here you go. This one's going to be great, right? But anyway, that's kind of pricey for a game. But if you pre-order, 33% off, $27. on both the Oculus Store and Steam. So
I'm going to pre-order this, by the way. I'll buy this one. I've got I think this looks really good, so I'll get it on this pre-order.
I'm just worried about the game. I mean, the gameplay looks good, but what the hell is the... I hope there's a premise behind it or a story, because it does look cool. It looks very, very visually beautiful, even though we don't have a scene. We got the VS. But yeah, it's definitely...
Well, it's coming out in a couple of weeks, so we'll talk about it more maybe next week. But yeah, it's looking like a good one.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know how the refund thing works with pre-orders. But,
once it unlocks, you get the 2 weeks as normal.
Oh, okay.
So it's not. I looked into that myself. So it's from when the game is officially available. You get these 2 weeks or your 2 hours to refund.
So no harm in buying it now.
It's a good discount. That's 33%, £10 discount. So I'll definitely do it on the discount.
Okay, cool. All right. Defector, of course, as we said, releases on 11th July. No Man's Sky is coming. We talked about that one earlier as well. Aspire 1.
And I think that'll be end of summer, that one. No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're kind of. They haven't said, I don't think, but you're probably right. It'll probably be toward the end of summer. Aspire 1 coming in August. Battle Wake, I think, just hit the closed beta just hit, so that one's very close as well. Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot coming July 26. Dirt Rally 2.0 VR support, so that's another Oculus exclusive like we were talking about earlier, coming this summer. Falcon Age PSVR version coming to the Epic Games Store exclusively this summer. Sirento PSVR on July the 5th. Now, I think that July the 5th number was EU territories only. I'm not quite sure about the U.S. release date on that. I don't think they've announced. Scraper First Strike from Labradex Studios coming on July 2nd. Very good game. I think the PSVR community is going to really like that one. Another PSVR exclusive, Angry Birds Under Pressure, coming. They haven't given us a date for that one, but that is an adventure game, and the movie that it's tied to releases in August, I think on the 18th, so I would imagine that the game is going to launch concurrently with the movie. And then there's that game. The one which must not be named, which I refuse to speak about before it is released. It's supposedly, the latest release date for it is summer, so we'll see if that game comes, but it is slated for the summertime. Carly and the Reaper Man, as we just said, coming to PSVR on August 27th, and we just found out Pierhead Arcade 2 coming into early access on PCVR only June 28th. So just next week, those fans of Pierhead Arcade can check out the sequel. All right. So, Alex, out of that list, any of that stuff that sticks out to you that you're really looking forward to?
Rogan, obviously, that's coming soon. I'm really looking forward to that. Defector, obviously. We already talked about that. No Man's Sky, definitely want to check that out. In fact, all these games, really. I mean, Battle Wake, Wolfenstein. This is a game that I've been a bit... we've not really heard much about this, actually. And it's going to be interesting because that's only about a month away. And it's already up for pre-order, actually. I think it's only $20, £15. It's not very expensive. Kind of the same as Defector. I doubt it's going to be a 4 or 5 hour game, though. I think it's going to be maybe a couple of hours. And again, they've not really shown much, so it's just surprising that this is coming from a AAA developer, and we've had virtually no gameplay. Don't really know anything about it other than you're just going to control these the big robots, basically. So it'll be interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to trying that out. You've got Dirt Rally, which I'm a big fan of. Looking forward to that. Falcon Age, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's it really, because the rest of PSVR stuff I've already played. So
yeah, and with Wolfenstein, it's all going to come down to the gameplay with that one. It's it's coming from a AAA developer, so we know that the graphics and the sound are going to be there, and we know that it's going to be a wave shooter, themed in, of course, the Wolfenstein universe. So it's all going to come down to how does it play. That game could be great. It could just be another wave shooter. We won't know until we get it. But like you said, it is cheap for a AAA game. It's cheap, and it's getting a physical release on PlayStation VR. So those of you with GameFly, you can put it on your queue right now and maybe get it that week when it comes out. But yeah, definitely another cool one. The one probably that sticks out of this list to me is Aspire 1. And we saw that piece that was done on it last week during E3, and that game has quickly moved to the top of my list. I don't know if it's number one, but it's definitely one of my top 5 most anticipated games right now. Of course, we described it in more detail last week. It's a stealth FPS game with unique mechanics, voice commands, unique climbing abilities, which is going to allow for a very unique gameplay in some what has the potential to be a very creative map. So to me, Aspire 1, that's the one out of this list that I'm really, really looking forward to. Looking forward to all of them, but that one and probably Defector as well.
Yeah.
Top of the list.
Top of the morning.
We're also getting some DLC this summer. Guys, let's not forget, I Expect You to Die, the Seed of Power DLC. It's free DLC coming July 16th. Kudos to the developer on that thing, by the way. They keep supporting it with free DLC. So it's a game that's already popular, and they just keep making it better. So kudos to them. Arizona Sunshine, the damn DLC. We all know I've been waiting for a long time on this damn DLC because, like I said a moment ago during the sale segment, this is a staple here. I've played through this campaign twice by myself. I played through this campaign with my wife. I played through this campaign with my daughter. With my wife.
My wife.
Screw you, Ginger. I played through this campaign with my daughter. My sister just told me that she picked it up. I told her to, it's $10, pick it up. Well, we already got it. So, going to be playing through it again. But, my wife and daughter, they want, they're all the time looking for stuff for us to play. Another chapter to Arizona Sunshine. Some more damn DLC sounds like a great idea to me. And coming on August 27th, looking forward to it. The Moss DLC, we all kind of assumed that this one's coming in the summer. I really thought we were going to get an announcement during E3 on this one. They were teasing it on Twitter in the week leading up to it, but nothing. So we're still hoping that the Moss DLC is coming this summer. I suspect it will, but, we really don't know. And lastly, Borderlands 2 VR DLC. We know that this was rated for PSVR by the ESRB, so that means normally means 1 to 2 months, and we'll have that on PSVR. All right, so there are other games as well that we know are coming soon, that may be coming in summer. Games such as Pistol Whip, Sniper Elite VR, which looks really cool. Budget Cuts 2 and Budget Cuts PSVR for that matter. Primordian, Population 1, Trial by Ting. Borderlands 2 PCVR we know is coming, or we think so, based on ESRB ratings. Pixel Rip 1995, Area of Darkness, Sentinel. So these are all games that are coming soon that may also drop during the summer. Roots. Any of those games stick out as something that you're really looking forward to?
Oh, yeah. I really want to see the rest of Primordian. I actually played quite a bit in there, and this new bit that they've put out looks just as amazing as the rest of it is. And so I really want to check that one out. And then I think out of everything else, I think Pixel Ripped probably, but we don't know any gameplay. I just enjoyed the first one so much.
Yeah, I've been saving Primordium because I actually own the game, but I've not played it because I've been waiting. You know, I'm like with early access. I've been waiting. So as soon as I know, a lot of people probably didn't really pay that much attention to the reveal trailer on the upload showcase, but this is one of the highlights for me because I'll finally get to play this game and play through it. So yeah, this is coming soon in full release, and I can't wait.
You get to play it on Index.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, jealous.
Patience. Told you.
Yeah, I agree. Primordium's great, and not only did they announce that they were going to complete this game, give it the third chapter, bring it out of early access, but we're getting a new game from Stonepunk Studios that we didn't get a whole lot on, but it seemed like it had a cool vibe. So looking forward to that as well. But with Primordium specifically, you know, this is cool. This is a melee combat game, one of the better ones. And it's a really awesome game. You can chop off your enemy's head and then eat it.
Nice.
You can eat your enemy's head. Come on, guys. No brainer. Now, this is what really gets me with this Primordium announcement. This already is one of the more graphically stunning games in all of VR. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. Would you agree to that?
Oh yeah, it definitely. Like Anthony says, it kind of gives you that Terminator. What is the other movie that Predator feel? I don't know. Stonepunk Studios, they really know what they're doing. I think it looks amazing.
Well, it's one guy. It's listed one guy, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, I think so. Or at least he may get help, but I think it's pretty much his deal, you know. But here's the thing with this update. This is what really blew my mind. I went into Steam last night and I read the dev notes on this thing, right? It's not just another chapter and we're coming out of early access. He said when he went into his game to begin to prep it to come out of early access, he got in there and realized how dated everything was. So what he did about that was completely rebuilt the game engine.
Oh my God.
He redesigned everything. The gameplay, the graphics, the sound, everything from start to finish in this game has been redone. And then he's releasing it all in one gigantic patch when this thing comes out of early access. And that just blew my mind because this game is incredible already. And he's going to redo it because he thinks it's dated. My goodness, this thing must be breathtaking. It must be staggering to check it out. And I really do envy Alex because it's already beautiful. And to get that new headset and to have it be improved even further, oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what he's done here. Anything else, Alex, on that list that's sticking out to you there?
Obviously, we've talked about Pistol Whip and Sniper Elite there too, that I'm really looking forward to. The other one, which I've been keeping my eye on for a while, is Area of Darkness Sentinel. This one, I've put it on the list because it's been postponed a couple of times. It was originally supposed to be releasing in April, and then the developer just postponed it back to May. And now it says June release on Steam. It's nearly the end of June, still not released. So this could drop any day now. And if you actually go into the community forums, people are asking when it's going to get released, and the devs basically saying that it's going through its final sweep of tests, and it's basically drawn a drop. So this could be, next week, couple of weeks. So and this is it's a bit of an indie developer who's made this, but I think they've done a really good job. It looks like it's gonna. I think it's going to be like a 3-hour, very story driven, very cinematic kind of. I think it's going to be kind of like Vader Immortal in a way, where you're going to be doing what they want you to do rather than exploring. But I'm okay with that as long as it's doing a good job and the graphics are good and like the set pieces are good. So, well, you can see from the trailer, it looks really cool with the scenarios. Like there's a crocodile that comes at you and shit, and you're jumping out of a plane. And yeah, I think this is going to be really cool. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting very patiently, but I think this is one to watch out for, and I think it's going to come out within a couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, just another amazing looking title, and a long list of proof that this is the year of VR. I mean,
And
come on.
that list, I mean, look at how many games we've just listed there. That's within 3 months. I mean, that is just bonkers. Some seriously incredible games that are coming out. I know we've had a bit of probably a slower start to the year, maybe, but we're going to talk about that next week. But this next 3 months is going to be absolutely incredible. So
Right.
people moaning about no games is just need to get their head out of the arse.
Yeah, you need to come up with a new shtick, because that one's not going to work.
Well, they're going to say they're no good games. You know, yeah, there's plenty of games, but they're just not good.
They're just not.
Yeah.
I want a 30-hour game. 20 hours is not enough. Yeah. Anyway, next 3 months are going to be balls to the wall, and I don't think it's going to stop there. I think it's going to be pretty much like this for the entire rest of the year. So.
Oh yeah, we've got a load coming fall as well, so we'll cover that when fall comes. We'll do another list, but this is just 3 months. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. Roots, anything there before we move on? Anything else that we missed that you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it. It's a lot of good stuff coming out, and like you said, I think this is the summer that's going to break a lot of people's wallets, and that's good. It's a good thing. So.
Yeah, it's definitely better than good. It's awesome. All right, so that's about it for our news and summer review, or summer preview segment, rather. So you guys know how it always goes. We're each going to pick a game. Here we are again. I don't think we've determined the order that they're going to air this week, but we're each going to pick a game that we're going to do a long form review of on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and tell you why. Spend a few minutes telling you why we picked it, and then if you want to hear more, you want to hear the conversation continue, of course, subscribe and click the notification bell, and then a few days' time, that discussion will be posted. So, Alex, who do you want? Who do you think should go on Tuesday?
Me.
You. All right. So, what game would you like to review this week, sir?
I'm going to review Killing Floor Incursion, which ironically is on sale right now on Steam at half price. So if you want to check it out, check it out. This actually originally came out on Oculus as an exclusive, and then it came to Steam, and then it came to PSVR, so it's available on all major VR headsets, and it's a shooter, just a straight up, like zombies coming at you from all directions. You've got to kill them, get to the other end, kill a final boss level game. That's my description. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. I'll not go into too much detail because we'll go into it in review. But it's got good gunplay, good sound. I like the graphics. The graphics are good. The main criticism I'll have personally is that the level design. It's all kind of like you're in corridors. You're all very tight spaces, and they throw all these zombies at you, and then you end up just backed up in a corner, just like waiting for an animation to play because it's all watching your gun reload before you can kind of get yourself out. And I just found that a little bit frustrating. Sometimes they didn't really vary it enough for me, where there wasn't enough variety in the levels. It was always go down this one corridor, you're very, very tight, enclosed space, kill zombies, the end. There was like a sniper level, which is kind of cool, but that's about it. What did you guys think, Roots?
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's one of those games that I played with a buddy of mine, Sean Zom, and he it's just a very good multiplayer game. Something just anytime you can play anything with somebody else, it's fun. At least the modes I played were multiplayer. But I think it's good. I like the gunplay. I had a lot of fun in it.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very good game. One of the better ports to PlayStation VR that I've tried. Pretty much a must own, and a game that's very underrated on PSVR. Very solid graphically, audio wise, gameplay wise, even. Um, it's a zombie shooter, but it's not a classic zombie shooter, and we'll get into that more during the review. There are some key differences between this and a classic zombie apocalypse game, but very good weapon diversity, very fun gameplay, and yeah, despite the couple uh, negative aspects to the game, definitely a must-own game. Very good move controller move controller locomotion with this too. Very impressed with the controller scheme on this one. And yeah, like I said, Tuesday, tune in and we will deep dive on this one and dissect it and display its innards for all of our viewers to enjoy. So, all right. So Wednesday. Let's see here. Well, Wednesday. Let's do Roots on Wednesday because yeah, I think that it would be a natural progression from his game to mine. So
Yeah.
Roots, what did you pick?
Okay, I picked Lucky's Tale. Actually, and the reason why I picked it is, one of the things we're going to put out, we do our lists, and we picked 6 things for noobs. So look for that in our episode. That is one of the things I picked. That's a great game for noobs. But I think it's this game. Like you said, there's a lot of other platformer games, right? This one, I even just played through the first 3 or 4 worlds this morning just to get caught up on it, and I was impressed all over again. The colors and just the way you move and the way you move with the world. I feel like it's one of the better platformer games, and I guess it was free for Oculus up until the Oculus Rift S came out. If you got an Oculus Rift S, you're screwed. You don't get it for free like us touch people did. We just don't have your fidelity on the screen. So, but yeah, so it's definitely worth playing. What did you think, Wes? Did you like Lucky's Tale?
Yeah, I agree. It's a very, very good game, and it is somewhat under discussed, underappreciated. Very good platformer. The colors are done very well in it, like you said. It's very colorful. Whereas other games play with large scale environments, one of the things that really impressed me about this game were some of the miniature things in it. I thought were very cool to look at and very well done. Good level design here. Basically the OG. This is the OG platformer in VR. This is the one that others took inspiration from, and it's a very high quality title. And yeah, like as always, we'll get into it more on Wednesday. But yeah, very much so. Very good game. Yeah, what do you think about it, Alex? You think it's as good as Roots and I do?
I liked it. I mean, it was literally a launch game for the Oculus Rift. It's an Oculus exclusive, and it was actually free for a long, long time. Not just with the Touch, but if you just created an Oculus account, even with a Vive, you could download this for free and play it through Revive. And they very, very recently made it not free, and now you have to pay for it. So, but it's still not expensive. I think it's £10.99 or $15 or something like that. But yeah, this is one of those that I watched before I got VR, and I was watching all the VR stuff because I was very engrossed in, like you guys. I think you were busy watching everything, and this was one of those games that I looked at and I just didn't get it. I didn't understand why the hell were you bringing out this VR headset and then you're bringing out a third person freaking platformer. It just didn't interest me. But then it was free. I got the Oculus Rift. I tried it out, and then I understood why these, because you still hear it now. A lot of people insist that everything's got to be first person, and they can't possibly. Why would you want to play something? I'd rather play it flat screen. They're not understanding the point of this. This is not about. I mean, even just being able to jump from platform to platform, you've got that depth perception. I can't speak perception, so you can see how far you need to jump, and it makes it easier to play. And will transition beautifully into your game, Wes, because they have the exact same thing with your game that you're going to pick.
Right. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about that then. I came to choose my game this week the same way Roots came to choose his game. As he said, our Monday show, our list show, this week's topic is going to be 6 games that are perfect for VR newcomers. So games that you want to use as a demonstration for a newbie, somebody who's never experienced VR before. And whereas Roots thinks that Lucky's Tale is one of those games, I think that Astrobot Rescue Mission is a good game. It didn't make my list. I have 2 other games on the list, but this game is a great game for newcomers. And simply put, this is the best platformer that VR has to offer. This is an amazing game from an audio-visual standpoint, from a level design standpoint, from a variety of gameplay standpoint. This game is an absolute masterpiece. It's one of the best that VR has to offer, and that's why I chose it. I can't praise this game enough. And tune in on Thursday if you want to hear a big love fest regarding this game. Roots, I'm going to go ahead and pretend to act like I don't know what you think about this game. But, Roots, what do you think about Astrobot Rescue?
No, I was kind of on the fence about it's amazing. Same thing as like you nailed it. It's the perfect game, and that's why I Lucky's Tale and this one, I think is a perfect game for newcomers to VR, exactly for what Alex said. If anything, to right off the bat, let's just get it over. Let's, elephant in the room. Platformer games in VR are amazing, and I want you to see it before you even formulate an opinion on it. And, I just had a friend come into town this last weekend, and, he's very susceptible to motion sickness. I put him in Skyrim, and he even said, we tested, he just moved his character with locomotion for like 5 seconds, and it was like he had to get out and wait for like an hour, or else he was going to get sick. And so, like, this is a good type of game that you can get that feeling of moving around, as you're moving your guy and not get sick. And it's a pretty safe bet for newcomers. So, but yeah, I Astrobot, I think even over like Lucky's Tale is in another level, just with the interactions of you and having your controller in there. And it's like you said, they looked at Lucky's Tale and then they made an even better game. And it makes me excited to see Nintendo's Mario when it comes out fucking 5 years from now, 10 years or whatever. So.
Oh, and that's coming too. The way they've been flirting with VR, it's coming. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I look forward to that myself. So that's it. That's going to wrap us for the Sunday show this week. Just another rundown of our schedule this week. Tomorrow, Monday, 6 games that are perfect for VR newcomers. We probably could have done 20, but we narrowed it down to 6. Monday, we have Alex's
Tuesday.
game. Tuesday, sorry. Thank you. Tuesday, we have Alex's game, Killing Floor Incursion.
Implosion.
Yes.
Implosion.
It's been drinking.
Yeah, I've been drinking orange juice and Red Bull. But anyway, we're going to talk about Killing Floor Incursion on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to talk about Lucky's Tale. Thursday, we're going to talk about Astrobot Rescue Mission. So a good God. A week full of great games, great content on our channel. So definitely be sure, if you haven't subscribed already, do so. Click the notification bell so you know when these videos drop. And if you like our episode today, click the like button. So if you guys have nothing else that you would like to say,
nope.
Just come hang out with
we'd
us.
like to thank you for So thanks for hanging out with us. Be sure to click the Discord invitation in the description down below. And thanks for watching for Roots and Alex, I'm Wes, and I will see you tomorrow, friends.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Sayonara.